Dzień dobry, cześć, and hello. Welcome, guys, to the fourth episode of the Polskast. I'm here with my friend and co-host Phil.
Trev, it's another podcast.
Another one.
How you feeling?
Good. Kind of
Good.
tired, but I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
And the weather's not agreeing. It should be a little bit warmer this time of year. I heard
it's
this morning
cold
that
here
it's
for
just
us.
as cold in Poland. So, all right, Trev. So, last week we started this new thing that I'm going to wear Polish shirts every week until, I run out. So, it's time for the unveiling of this week's T-shirt. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm
Okay,
scared,
here we
but
go.
I'm ready. Chesh. Oh my god. You have a Sławomir t-shirt.
I
Wow.
have a song.
Did it ship to the US?
Yeah. So, I've got a story about it.
Okay.
So, as I've mentioned plenty of times, we have the Polish church here, we have the Polish school here, and they like to do events to raise money. So the Polish school specifically, they had a Halloween party, and so they said, okay, everybody dress up in your costumes. We're gonna have a party, whatever, for the adults, right? So they announced it maybe like in July or August or something like that, and I said, okay, I'm dressing up as Sławomir. I think this is a great idea, right? So I went to his website and ordered one. It took must have been 6 to 8 weeks to get here. I was getting nervous because I was ready to do this costume and the party was coming and it still wasn't here yet. But finally it showed up. I wore this. Obviously, as usual, we'll drop a picture and I'll show you later. I bought a silver sequence, the jacket. I bought the little cap to make my head bald and everything like that.
Let me see the shirt again. Oh my god. I love the one little strand of hair, right? And just the bright white smile.
So then my wife dressed up his wife.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you know, but the
I've
wife,
never-
the woman in the band is his wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Kyra.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So we walk into the party, and everybody's dressed like in typical American Halloween costumes. Vampire, nurse.
Yeah.
These typical things you'd see in American parties.
Was
And
this
here
for a
I
church?
It was at the church hall and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in dressed like Sławomir, right? And this guy walks up to me, and all of a sudden he looks at me and he's like, and I apologize to the Polish listeners before I say this. He's like, "O kurwa, Sławomir jest." And he goes running across the room going, "Sławomir jest." Right?
Yeah.
And so, needless to say, I was a big hit at the party. Especially
were people taking
once
pictures with you?
I was getting my pictures taken with everybody. Once everybody started drinking, the women were grabbing parts of my body and stuff like that while we were dancing. The DJ asked me. He started playing Miłość Zakopanem, and he asked me if I want to get up there on the stage and start singing. while he was playing the
I want to
song.
see
And
that.
I was like, no thanks, I'm good.
I want to see that.
It
How much was it?
fun time. It was the price of a normal shirt. Yeah, it wasn't
Okay.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget exactly, but it wasn't expensive or anything like that. But so we had that party, and then, like I said, that was for the school, the Polish school. They organized that party. But the priest at our church also likes to organize parties. So he does them for Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, Andrzejki. And so he was having a party 2 weeks later or something like that. So my wife gets a text message from him after the party, maybe the next day or something like that. And he's like, listen, he's like, that costume your husband has, he's like, I want to borrow it because I want to wear it to my party the following week. So I was like, hey, yeah, no problem. So we went somewhere, I think it was Thanksgiving weekend or something like that. That's why we didn't go to that party. We went to my parents' house. But I saw a video later that, same thing, the DJ played Miłość Zakopanem again, but the priest got up on the stage. He didn't sing, but he was dancing all over the place. How Sławomir dances in that music video. So that was a good time.
That's something we can talk about, though, I guess, briefly, is the differences Halloween, versus kind of Day of the Dead type of thing, in Poland and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess, in Poland, they don't do parties. I don't think.
No.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, they don't really most of the older generation doesn't like Halloween at all.
Yeah, it's like Satan's birthday.
Right. It's like one of these things where like the younger people are taking like as they take on more and more American cultural things, they seem to get into it a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely off limits for the older generation like that.
I don't know if the younger generation is adopting it in any way. I don't think so.
Not really that much. Maybe the ones that are into American culture and stuff like that. But I don't think even generally it's not.
A lot of people were commenting on one of the videos I did about fall, the differences between fall, autumn. And they were saying, like, a lot of people seem to be really not for Halloween. Like, they really didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of a holiday for kids, I would think. I mean, we have these parties that we go to, but it's more in the trick-or-treating aspect.
Yeah, for kids. And then I guess with like adults, it's parties and stuff.
Yeah, it usually gets taken too far by somebody. Usually there's the kids that are a little too old out trick-or-treating and stuff like that, or the adults who are partying maybe a little too much for such a simple holiday. As usual, somebody will take everything too far in America. That's just how it works over here.
And I think in the past, like, 5-10 years, it's become really sexualized, or has it always been really sexual? Like, at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're probably right in that regard. Probably with the advent of Instagram being big and everybody wanting to put what they look like on social media and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I bet you there's a correlation between the two.
I would agree with that. Yeah, probably. Yeah. So,
yeah,
some people don't know. Like, I guess women kind of dress up like scandalously, I guess.
Yeah. I guess that's a safe way to put it.
Yeah. It's a big thing in college, like,
Yeah, I mean, there's never enough reasons to party in college, right? So.
Yep. Yeah. Fun fact, I actually never went to one in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Never went to one. Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot I don't know about you, Trip.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. I'm introverted, and I just, the whole party vibe scene, it just didn't really get to me. I just,
Right. Yeah, I'll be honest, maybe this is something we can get into. I didn't really enjoy it that much when I was in college. I mean, I went to things and, I attended events, but I didn't join a frat or anything like that.
My roommate was in one.
Okay, when I'm in Poland, at these parties, I always have a great time at these parties, and but they feel different, I guess.
How so?
Somehow. This kind of gets into like language learning too. Is I feel like when I'm in Poland, I have a different personality almost.
Yeah, a lot of people will say that with their second language, especially, right?
Yeah, when you start speaking the second language, you're in that moment, and you kind of feel like it's a different person, and it's like.
Yeah.
And for me, it feels like that person enjoys doing things that the English person doesn't enjoy doing. So, and it almost feels like, oh, hey, that Polish guy, he's more fun. So let me explore this a little bit because of the stuff I would never do with the English version of my brain or whatever, however you explain it, So it's definitely interesting.
A lot of people will say that they don't, they have, less stress in their second language. It's kind of a, I don't know, safe space that you can go to,
The only thing that the only place I get stressed from a little bit is that I can't properly express myself yet in Polish the way I can in English, right? And I'm afraid that I'm going to say something and it's not going to come out the right way or something like that, right? That's probably my overthinking part of my brain in English creeping over into the Polish side. Yeah. But it's definitely fun. I find myself here sometimes when you're in very Polish situations that also in Polish will just start coming out of my mouth because it feels like a Polish moment and not so much like a English moment, and I gotta remember that I'm in America and most of the people at my house or something like that are speaking English and I need to speak English.
For me, I mean, do you find yourself whenever you're drinking, you're like 2 or 3 beers in, do you find that Polish comes out a lot easier?
Yes. Yeah. Even for many years, sometimes my wife and I don't know, we'll sit down, we'll watch our shows for the night, and she'll have a glass of wine, I'll have some vodka or something like that, and maybe after some nights when it's really enjoyable night, I'll have like 2 or 3 or something like that, and then she's like, we had a full conversation in Polish last night, you were speaking no problem, and it was just flying out, and I'm like, Okay, I'm like, it's not gonna happen, when I'm completely sober.
Yeah.
But
It's way easier. I don't know.
yeah, but I also find these days that like when you drink a little too much, you start slurring a little bit, and I find my Polish gets slurred easier than my English does, right? And the people who are around me the most, they know what I'm saying, like my wife or my wife's cousins or something like that. And I'll find a lot of times when we're sitting there in some event or something like that, and I spit out something in Polish, and then one of those two will have to say to them what I just said, because they're used to how I speak when I've had something to drink, but other people might not be,
Yeah, I was drinking with my girlfriend's father, and we were having some vodka, and like after the 7th one, I'm like, "Potrzebujesz przewa, potrzebujesz przewa," like just slurring completely. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, and father-in-laws are tough, man.
You can't keep up. I mean, they'll just keep drinking.
Not.
They're like, it seems like they're sober. Like
they have a lifetime of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I was done. That was the most I ever drank, was with my girlfriend's father.
Yeah.
This past winter.
Like, I know when I get there, so my father-in-law in general is not allowed to keep alcohol in the house.
Oh, why's that?
Because he'll if it's in the house, he'll probably drink it, but they need,
Yeah.
So but when there's guests over, you got to take care of the guest. So the second I walk in the door, the mother-in-law's hugging me, hello, how you doing, and everything like that. He just looks at me and he's like, wine or vodka? And I'm like, vodka. And he goes, I'm off to the store.
Yeah.
He runs out. That's it.
He's waiting for that moment.
He's waiting for that moment. There's a guest in the house, then he can be hospitable.
Yeah. Have you ever had like moonshine?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What is it called? Beanbur.
I don't know.
Beanbur.
Yeah. Everybody. A lot of people over there, especially as we got into a couple episodes ago, in the Podlaskie region, a little bit more out in the country and stuff like that. So everybody has, a lot of people over there make like their homemade vodka, their homemade spiritush or whatever, and they all want to share it with the people who've come into town. So
what's the most you ever, like, how many shots
in one time?
Yeah.
That was probably the weddings and stuff like that. We drank like probably, the first wedding that I went to, I probably drank a bottle of vodka that night.
What about Beanbur?
No. Usually it's much less. I'm just
I don't think you'd still be breathing.
Yeah. It's just like, no, I'm good,
Yeah,
and Usually that usually follows the next day of my wife yelling at me going, what did you do to yourself, now that I'm laying in bed the entire day.
This my girlfriend's father-in-law, whatever we want to say now. He has this friend who makes vodka like in the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, I guess, the same thing is here with people that do moonshine, right?
Right.
And this stuff was so strong, man. I had one shot and I had to sit down. I mean, it was just an instant wave that just goes over you.
You get to, like, when you smell it.
Yeah.
You feel like the alcohol's going into your system just from simply smelling it.
Yeah. And then I learned after that you can go blind from moonshine. I didn't know about that. Like, I'm going to be pretty scared to ever have moonshine again. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, so there's, like, always the 3 tricks, right, to drinking a lot with Polish people.
Yeah. Let's hear your strategies here.
always keep moving. Don't just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Always keep eating.
Yeah.
That's another one.
And drinking water.
And always keep drinking water. Yeah. Or something. Don't just sit there and drink shots and don't chase it with water or something like that. Those are the tricks. I remember at my wedding, as we talked previously about, Americans like to just sit at the tables and not actually participate in the wedding and stuff like that. And so I had a few people from America come over for the wedding, and they were all just sitting at the table, not really getting up and doing everything. And the Polish people, they were constantly going to the dance floor, coming back to the dance floor, having a shot, and going back to the dance floor again, And so every time they came over, of course, there's guests sitting there. They're like, let's do another shot, So specifically, my father's he's just sitting there the entire time, and every time somebody came over, he did a shot with them, you know. Mm-hmm. And I see his face starting to get a little flush.
Oh, your father, yeah.
My father, yeah. And I'm like, so I went over to him. I'm like, get up on the dance floor and start dancing. I said, you can't sit here and just have shots with everybody that comes over.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
You know. So that got him up and moving and everything like that. Yeah, moving is definitely important. You got to sweat out some of that vodka between shots.
Does your face get red when you drink?
Yes.
Yeah. For me, it depends, like, on the temperature of the room, outside, and all of that. But typically, like with wine, my face gets flushed. Mm-hmm. Like I get red. Yeah.
Even though I guess right now people tell me I'm the red version of you and I. You're the white version of the flag, and I'm the red version.
Did someone comment that?
I think in our first episode they said we look like the Polish flag.
Oh yeah, it was the smiley face guy, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what I would be interested in is how much vodka did you drink before you ever went to Poland? Were you more of a beer guy, more of some other drink guy?
I never had a shot of vodka.
Okay, so your first shot was in Poland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
similar.
I was kind of what do they call it? What's the term for people who don't take part in any drinking or drugs? Straight something. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Straight shooter.
Straight shooter, I guess. Yeah. I was kind of like that. Like I never, you know. So, okay. I had maybe I don't even know if I had a few beers actually before going over. I was 20 years old by the time I came over to Poland, and
I forget. Yeah, you were much younger on your first trip to Poland than I was.
Yeah, so I wasn't even, in the U.S. I couldn't even legally drink. Right. I had some wine before. I like wine. My girlfriend and I, we like wine. She's not even into vodka.
Yeah.
We're like wine people now.
Okay. Yeah, my whole family was Italian. My mom's side of the family is Italian, so wine was a big thing.
Yeah.
In our family, and my grandparents were the immigrants, so my grandfather and I was like the oldest boy in our line of the family. So, I think maybe when I was like 13 or something like that, he's like, hey, you're a man now. You want any wine? You can have wine. When I'm in his house or whatever. So wine, I was just very used to, because I was just constantly around it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal or anything like that, because just around it. But I think, similar to you, I don't think I drank vodka. I think when we were getting ready to go to that first trip to Poland, the groom invited us to his house here in America for like a grill or something like that. He invited everybody that was going to be going to Poland, and he had some homemade vodka with him, and I think that was my first shots of vodka were right there. But even though a lot of times that homemade vodka isn't very strong compared to other ones. There's obviously like the Moonshine type stuff, but the one that they simply have when they have some guest over or something like that with their meals and stuff like that usually isn't that strong. So
nah, it's like 40% typically.
Yeah. But so I would say, the first real time I drank vodka was that first, not even the wedding, the bachelor party, I guess, a couple nights before. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm not even into drinking now. I'll have wine and stuff. Yeah. And that's really it. Wine, maybe a beer, once in a little while, but I'm not really into alcohol. But I sometimes, I guess I kind of play the game once I'm there because, you kind of have to be respectful when you go over to a party. You're not going to turn down alcohol. I don't know how, recovering alcoholics, how they cope with being in Poland. Because, alcohol is the one drug, if you think about it. If you don't consume it, people are like, why? What's wrong with you?
Right.
It's the one drug where people are like, what's wrong with you, right?
Right.
And so, I don't know. I guess I drink so then people don't have to ask that, I guess.
Right.
But one of my friends, Stefan Thompson, he doesn't drink alcohol at all, and he lives in Poland, and he was in Ukraine, and people were asking what's wrong with you? Why don't you drink? I guess they weren't even around people who ever didn't drink before,
Right.
It's crazy.
At the same time, I don't. It's another one of those personality things. I don't think I really drink too much here. like occasionally, I'll have a drink. It's been a rough week. I'll have a drink, on a Friday or a Saturday or something like that. But when I get over there, I feel the need to have one, I guess.
That's how it is with me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, like it's like that mentality thing, It's like, okay, you slip into the Polish mentality and you're like, yeah, of course I should be having a drink now, Eventually, guaranteed on any one of my trips, it will go too far and I'm like, okay, I do not want to have a drink anymore. But when I get there, it's like you want the full experience. It's like, yes, give me some, pierogi, give me some kopitka, give me some vodka, and like you just want to be in, washed over in the Polishness.
Get like the full experience.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I sometimes worry though, like with the stigma and like kind of the identity of Poles that they are drinkers and they have to drink. I sometimes worry that, it probably affects people with like alcoholism and stuff.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's a whole topic in itself, probably.
It does. I don't know if like definitely people. I don't think it's as maybe with the. I don't know if it's with the younger generations if it's crazy as it was the older generation. I mean, they can all definitely drink. They can definitely all hold their own. But I don't feel like it's the same thing where like these older guys who just sit there and once they retire, they're just sitting on the benches drinking all day with their buddies and stuff like that. I don't know if I experience the same thing with the younger generation. It might be something that's
or maybe they're in the
changing.
making.
That could be too. I didn't know these older guys when they were younger. You might be right.
Who knows?
There are a few. I have a couple of funny stories dealing with alcohol and stuff like that. I remember. So like I said, that first trip to Poland, so we had the bachelor party, a day off, the wedding, and now we're going to the second day party, right? So this is after a couple days of really heavy drinking, and we get there like at 11:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting at the table, and I'm exhausted, like the bachelor party, the wedding, I'm barely sitting there, and all of a sudden the groom's brother starts coming over with shots of vodka. There's bottles pouring in everybody's shots. And I'm sitting next to one of my buddies. I'm like, I cannot do another shot right now. There's no way. And he's like, hold on. And he poured some water into my shot glass. Right? So the guy's coming over, he's pouring it. He looks and he sees there's already a liquid in my shot glass. Yeah. Right? All of a sudden he goes, bang, bang. He bangs on the table once and saw how the liquid moved. And he's like, that's water. He's like, dump it out and put it back.
Are you serious? How do you know?
I guess like vodka's more dense than water, isn't?
Yeah,
I guess.
Wow, what a nerd, man.
So I think but the other thing, the other trick I will say about being over there is nobody cares if you drink the entire shot every time. Right? Okay. So if you drink, even if you just take a little sip or drink half of it or something like that, nobody's gonna like. They expect you to, when they're all having a drink, they expect you to have a drink. Why aren't you not drinking? But even if you only sip a little bit, as long as like the gesture is there or something like that, most people are fine with just that. Okay. So that's what I found. Like,
I'm gonna need these pretty soon. Actually, right. All these tricks. Like,
I recommended that to some of my friends once. I was like, I'm like, if you feel like it's being too much, do like half a shot and put it down or something like that, and nobody's gonna care. They'll top it off the next time they come around, but nobody's gonna care that a half a shot is still sitting in there.
One of my favorite things actually with vodka is żubrówka with vodka, with apple juice.
Yeah, that was crazy, right? The first time, because żubrówka is from Białystok.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
It's from that forest. The grass comes from that forest. The
in that area,
something like that. Yeah. Okay. Where all the bison are.
Yeah.
Right. We went there on one trip. Actually, I don't think I talked about that one. Places we've been in Poland, but it's a very nice place. So when you first hear about it, right? For those, anybody doesn't know, most Polish people watch this podcast, but if anybody happens to be watching that doesn't know, when you pour żubrówka and apple juice together, it tastes exactly like apple pie.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how much it tastes like apple pie.
It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's a warm drink. I don't know. It's nice. Well, you can have it cold too, like in the summer. It's nice. Yeah. I really like that one.
I think that's the other difference between how I drink here and how I drink there is normally when I have vodka here, it's a drink. Like I will pour some vodka and some Scotch water or something like that, right, in a glass and have a drink. Where over there, I think I've only had shots over there. Yeah. Nobody's pouring me drinks over there or anything like that.
My father-in-law, he's into like whiskey and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes making drinks and stuff like that. So
Okay.
we've talked a lot about alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm feeling drunk right now. I'm getting buzzed. What do you want to talk about next?
So, I saw you put on that video the other day about the 5 things that are better in Poland than in America, and I think you forgot the most important thing. And I sent you a note about this at the time, but I think the Ryniks, I'm going to say it funny because I put the English S on the S, but the town centers in Poland are maybe my favorite thing about Poland.
I agree. Yeah.
It kind of ties into this whole topic we're talking about drinking too, is that, just going there and hanging out in the summer day and having a beer and having a little bit of food and
kind of looks like Disney World.
Yeah. It really, it's like, it is. It looks, if those areas were in America, they'd have to be in an amusement park.
Yes.
Because would look fake here.
Yes.
How nice and clean and well maintained they are, and everything like that.
Yeah, it's something you only see in an amusement park. You're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I tell you, man, going there in the summer when they got the umbrellas out.
Oh my God, perfect 70 degrees, light breeze, blue skies. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Smell of pierogi in the air, like
all the food and everything like that. Yeah. Man, it's amazing.
Oh my God, I miss it, man. I really do.
Even in the winter, we just went in the winter, and still people are sitting outside. They put like the fires out and everything like that.
I would.
And
do
then
that,
you get like the people singing like Christmas carols and everything, walking by and stuff like that. And I'm like, man. And the other nice thing about it is, at least where my in-laws live in Białystok, it's within walking distance. It's maybe a
really
5-10 minute walk to the center of the city. So I'm down there pretty much every day, and doing everything like down there. And it's just like, I wish I could find a town or a city like that in America. I'd go live there in a second, right?
Yeah, and you can't really, can you?
You can't. I don't think, because the other thing is in most of these areas the traffic is blocked off, and so it's only people walking around and everything like that. And I just simply don't think they would have that happening in America anywhere or anything like that.
No.
And if they had that, I've seen some towns where because I think those kind of town centers used to exist here, but they're like a bygone. They're more like the 50s and stuff like that, right? And now when you see towns like that still have them, they're not designed for all the traffic that now exists with everybody taking cars to work and everything like that, especially up here. And they're just miserable to drive around it and stuff like that, right? Because they're designed for a different era, and they're really not designed to have cars going through. They're more designed to have people walking around. But yeah, man, I'm just even now, like I was watching your video and there was 2 things you meant, the sandwiches. So that's what I was sitting there immediately like, I need to go to Poland and get up in the morning, and my mother-in-law's gonna make me a sandwich, and then I'm gonna go down and hang out in the Rynek all day.
Like, I don't think the weather was ever super hot, like to the point where I'm just pouring sweat like you would here in the summer.
Not outside, as we mentioned. It can get hot in buildings and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, outside usually it's perfectly normal. It's a little bit further north than either you and I live here in America.
Exactly.
So it's a little bit colder.
Yeah. Does your wife complain about like the weather when it's hot or rainy or stuff?
Here or there?
If she's there.
If she's there? She simply complains if we got something to do and it's raining or something like that.
Okay.
That's about it. Usually, like I think I've mentioned it before, usually she still thinks of me as an American when I'm there. And, God forbid, American has to do something like walk around in the rain or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not take a car somewhere.
Yeah.
Something like that. 12 years I've been going there, she still thinks, okay, we need to get a cab, to go somewhere. I'm like, I can walk. It's okay.
Yeah.
I have feet.
Yeah. One thing though is like with the rain there, sometimes in the summer it's like really unpredictable rainstorms, at least in the region of Lublin.
Yeah. But I've noticed that a couple times. It's similar to like Florida here.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you'll get like a afternoon shower for like half an hour. Or and it'll downpour and then it's done again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Quick moving storms.
Yeah. So what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, well, let's see. it's a Polish podcast, so let's talk about all the Polish stuff I'm doing this weekend. Right now, my wife just walked out the door. She's gonna go pick up our daughter from Polish school.
Mm-hmm.
Probably usually our routine is on Saturday nights and Sunday nights. My wife and I watch Em Jak Miłość. I don't know if you've seen that show at all.
I've seen it a couple times. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in Warsaw, right? Everything takes place in Warsaw.
It's like half the story takes place in Warsaw.
Mm-hmm.
Half the story takes place in like the little village outside, like Grabina.
Okay.
It's called.
Uh-huh.
So
it's very popular soap opera. I've seen it a few times.
I would say a little fun fact now. It is probably my most watched show of all time.
Really?
Now. If you go like number of episodes.
Polish show or just
show?
Wow.
Like,
okay.
Right? Because you think about maybe my most watched shows years are like Friends, Seinfeld, something like that, you know? And those were on, let's say, for 9 seasons, right? 9-10 seasons. And there's an episode per week, right? So it's about 180, 200 episodes, something like that. I have now been watching Em Jak Miłość, and this is almost embarrassing to admit. I've been watching it for 11 years now.
Are you serious?
And there's 2 episodes per week.
Oh my god.
So double that number.
Do they take a break in between uploading?
They take the summers off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Similar here. There's no new episodes on in the summer.
And they film in the summer, right?
I assume that.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it seems like they film year round because you'll see different seasons in the episodes and stuff.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So it used to be when my wife first moved here, we watched Em Jak Miłość and Rancho. After that's another good show, but that one ended, so now it's just Em Jak Miłość. So we'll do that this weekend. I'm sure my wife will be cooking up something Polish, tasty, or whatever. Sunday's Mother's Day in America. I don't think it is in Poland. I think they have separate days in Poland.
Yeah, they do. So. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do something for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you getting into this weekend?
Edit. I mean,
actually putting up some of these podcasts.
Yes, exactly. I actually have to edit the last podcast we did. So yeah, really just edit. I mean, I work so much right now, and it's like I don't have time to edit during the week. So it's
right.
And this week has been so busy from just a whole bunch of things, which we'll get into in the future. But yeah.
Actually, if we wanted to make a request to our listeners, to our viewers, whatever you want to say, is definitely if you have something you want us to talk about, definitely let us know. We're not afraid to talk about most topics, but coming up with those topics, especially during busy weeks where we're thinking about a lot of other things, sometimes proves to be a little difficult. So anything you think you might find interesting listening to by 2 Americans talk about.
Yeah. Let us know.
Definitely let us know. Yeah. And
questions,
we'll get right
topics.
Questions, They don't have to be long topics, short questions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we get a bunch of short questions, we can do like a rapid fire or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I like to know what to know what Polish people think or want to know about Americans and stuff like that. So definitely let us know.
Yeah. So is that it for this episode?
I guess that's a podcast.
That's a wrap, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Dziękujemy. Do widzenia.